Hi, this is Sherry with Happy Gut for Life, and today's SCD how-to is making your own cashew milk. Today I'm making cashew milk because that's the kind I like the best. I like the flavor of the cashews. That's very mild. I like it because you can make it plain. You can use it with savory dishes. You can also sweeten it with a little honey or dates or vanilla. A lot of times it's good to make your own cashew milk or any kind of nut milk or coconut milk on SCD is because the kind of nut milks and coconut milk you find in stores a lot of times has fillers in it that we can't have, like guar-gum, carrageenan, and other additives. And making your own is really easy. All you really need is water and nuts or coconut. You pretty much make it all the same way, so you can make coconut milk this way too. And then you blend it and strain it, and then it's done. Here I have my cashews. They've already been soaked. You want to soak them for at least 4 hours. I usually do 4 to 8 hours, depending on when I put them in the morning, and then I'll do it sometime, usually later in the afternoon or after work. So they'll be in there for several hours, but you want to do at least 4. Then you'll just add your cashews to your blender. You want to use as high speed a blender as you can. I mean, everybody has a different one. This one I have is pretty powerful. The more powerful blender you use, the less pulp there will be. Some people who use like a really powerful blender, like a Vitamix, this is a Ninja, they won't strain it at all. They like to have it a little thicker. Personally, I like to strain it no matter what, but if you have a not as powerful of a blender, you're probably definitely going to want to strain it. So after we put our nuts in the blender, then we're just going to add 4 cups of filtered water. You also use filtered water when you soak them, so purified, just a very, not just tap water. And then we're just going to blend it for a couple of minutes. So you just want to blend it for a minute or two until it's very smooth and everything is all ground up. So now I'm going to filter it. So what I use to filter the cashew milk are these nut milk bags. I really like them because they're very fine and they take out all of the pulp and they're not messy. You can use cheesecloth. I've used cheesecloth in the past. I don't like it because it gets like all messy and I just don't like it. But you can even use like a clean dish towel. Just make sure everything you use is very clean, washed, and ready to go. I have my nut milk bag in a pitcher, and so I'm just going to pour the cashew milk into it. You can see some of that. I'm not going to pour all that in, that's pulp there. So now you have your pulp separated, and another thing you want to make sure of is that you wash your hands really well because you're going to kind of squeeze this out. You can also put on some rubber gloves, so that way you have it running past all over your fingers into what you're going to drink. So yeah, definitely make sure your hands are clean before you put on some gloves. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of the cashew pulp here, and so what I usually do is I'll freeze it, and then after a couple of batches you could use it in some cookies or muffins in place of nut flour. It works fine for that. It definitely doesn't, it might look a little like cashew butter, but it doesn't. You would have to do, I've never tried to make cashew butter with it. You'd probably have to add some oil. It has like almost no flavor, so you definitely would want to add something to it to A, to get it creamy, and B, to add a little flavor to it. But I do try to save it. I have thrown it out before, but I like to save it to use for something else. You might be wondering about flavoring the cashew milk. You can either leave it plain or add some vanilla and some honey, or you can use dates to kind of sweeten it up a little bit. I usually kind of like to do both because the plain cashew milk works better if you're going to use it in a savory dish like egg bites. They are not good if you use vanilla and honey sweetened cashew milk. One thing is that I've learned in doing it is that I will actually add my sweetener and vanilla after I strain it, because otherwise you're kind of straining some of that out, so why waste it? So I will do the straining first, then add in a little vanilla and a little honey, and then put it back in the blender and blend that up. So you probably, like for the amount, if you want to sweeten the whole amount, I think I use about 2 teaspoons of honey and a half a teaspoon of vanilla. You could do maybe a teaspoon and of vanilla and a full tablespoon of honey. It depends on how you like it, how sweet you want it, and how flavored you want it. So that's up to you. That's something you probably want to experiment with a little bit to get the flavor that you like. This is our completed cashew milk. I like to pour it in these little milk jars. It holds maybe a little over a cup. And actually with the amount I made in the video, we'll make 3 of these, but I already used some. So these are the 2 I have left. And you just can keep them in the refrigerator for about 4 or 5 days. I wouldn't keep it past that, but mine doesn't usually last that long. And that's my tutorial for making your own cashew milk. For more of my recipes, go to happygutforlife.com, and to keep up with all my videos, be sure to subscribe.